Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So after a long hiatus, I was quite busy with work. So here I am back again doing some recording and also some videos of my first going back to the Philippines after the pandemic. So as for those who do not know, I came to Japan as a PhD student. So it is easier for me to go from the Philippines to Japan because I did not need any documents. But now since I'm working as an OFW and also this is my first time to go back to the Philippines since I graduated from my PhD course and going back to the Philippines as an Overseas Filipino Worker, so I have to accomplish some documents for the verification of my contract. Okay, so I verified my contract in POLO Osaka. So based on their website, these are the following documentary requirements to verify the contract. So first is a copy of the valid passport, so it is easier to get this one. Then the valid and appropriate visa and or work permit. So for those who live in Japan, we have this residence card. This is provided by the immigration. Then the original copy of a valid employment contract verified by the Philippine Overseas Labor Office. So this is um, the document needed for us to get our OEC or the Overseas Employment Certificate before we can go out from the Philippines. Then the fourth one is the any proof of the current employment, such as the current certificate of employment, valid company ID, or a recent pay slip. So this is easier to get. Next is the sworn statement of the worker providing explanation on how or she was hired by the current employer. So for this one, I just search in Google the the format in making a sworn statement, and it is easier. How this is just a statement on how you get the contract. In my case, I just stated this here that I was directly hired by the university after I graduated from my PhD course. So it's just a contact, then put your signature, then the passport number. So the minimum provisions that should be included in the employment contract, they have this standard format. So the first one is the complete name and address of the employer and company. Of course, you have this one. Next, the position and the job site of the worker. The basic in that contract, the basic monthly salary should be reflected, including the benefits and the allowances and mode of payment. The fourth one is this. This is a bit difficult for us because we do not have this in our employment contract. The food and accommodation or the monetary equivalent, which shall be commensurate to the cost of living in the host country or offsetting benefits. Although we have like transportation allowance from going to and from work, we do not have this food and accommodation allowance. Next, the fifth one is the commencement and duration of contract. And the sixth is the free transportation from and the back of the point of hire. So we have this in our contract. But for in my case, I just live just in front of the university, so that I do not need transportation allowance. Next, the regular work hours and day off, which is also reflected in my contract. The overtime pay for services rendered beyond the regular working hours, which is also included in my contract, and the vacation leave and sick leave for every year of service and the medical insurance. Of course, in Japan, if you are working legally, they require you to have the medical insurance, which is easier to get. So the another provision which should be included in the employment contract is the valid or authorized causes for termination of the contract or of the services of the worker, the settlement of dispute, the repatriation of worker in case of imminent danger due to war, calamity, and other analogous circumstances at the expense of the worker, and in case of the worker's death, the repatriation of his or her human remains and personal belongings at the expense of the employer. So these last four requirements are not included in my employment contract. So what I did was that I just wrote a letter to them explaining that this contract, the contract that I have with the university is just the standard contract, which is also applicable to Japanese nationals. So the in which they did not include the repatriation and in case of the repatriation of the workers. So for this, fortunately, with that cover letter explaining that uh, these are just the things that are included in my contract. They allow it, and they consider verifying my work permit. Also, for I think another requirement I provided was the registration of the company. Although it's a university, I think every institution in Japan is registered. So for this one, our secretary helped in obtaining the business registration of the university. So they have this, I think, the Ministry of Justice website wherein you can request for this certificate, and you just have to pay 500 yen through bank transfer in JP Bank. And our secretary helped me in obtaining this certificate by inputting all the information, since this website is in Japanese, and also helped me transfer that 500 yen payment for to get the business registration certificate. So also they asked for um, the ID, a copy of the ID of the president of the university, or any official document that shows the president of the university. Unfortunately, the university is it's a national university, and the university is very big, and most of these are mendokusai for Japanese. So it was very difficult to obtain this ID of the president of the university. And I think it's not useful for them that someone is asking for the ID of the president of the university. So for this one I just look for the university handbook, wherein there's a picture of the university president, and with his signature and with his name. So I included that document in the requirements and sent it to POLO Osaka. Fortunately, they allow it, or they accept that document in as in exchange of the ID of the president of the university. Another requirement is the contract. So of course, it should be signed, or the hanko, the seal of the university of the president of the university should be there, and also you have to sign it. You also have to affix your signature on the contract. And since most of us in Japan, our salary slip is in Japanese, so I just translated it into English, and they accept also that one. Also, the business registration permit for of the university is in Japanese. So I asked our secretary to translate it with her signature on that document, and they also accept that. The POLO Osaka also accept that document. So I think that's all about getting your employment contract to be verified. It was just fortunate that POLO Osaka is very considerate of the directly hired overseas Filipino workers, especially as the uh, highly skilled professionals. So I think that's it. So this is my first time to go back to the Philippines during the since the pandemic, and my first time to come back to Japan as an overseas Filipino worker, not a student. So So I went to the Philippines to attend a conference, the Samahang Pisika ng Pilipinas conference in Legazpi, Albay, and also it was the the birthday of my it was the first birthday of my nephew. So it was fun. I had a very hectic schedule. I had to attend conference. I had to help prepare for the birthday celebration and had to go back to Japan. Also, our flight from Japan to the Philippines arrived at 1 in the morning, and our flight to Legazpi is at 6 in the morning. So it was a tiring but uh, productive trip to the Philippines. So that's all for this one, and see you again in my next travel. So before I end this video, I will just show you which place I booked for my stay in Osaka, because the flight from Manila to Kansai arrives at 8 in the evening and there is no more train going back to Fukui. So I booked my accommodation in Oriental Suite near, just connected to the Renko Town station, a station away from Kansai International Airport. I get this for like less than 8,000 yen or less than 9,000 yen. And it was I had a very big room, which is not common in Japan. And when I checked it again, I just know that this hotel closed in September or November. So I booked here last October 2022, and this hotel was closed in November 2022. So that's maybe the reason why it is cheaper, considering the big room, the convenience in from the train station, and how beautiful and classy this hotel room looks like. So yes, this is my way to my room. Look at how clean the hallway is. So I think they have clean carpet, which is very good to look at. Then they have this receiving room where you have a sofa. Then yeah, it's quite big. Not very common in Japan. Then there's the bedroom. It has two beds, which is quite cheap for less than 9,000 yen. And of course, this is the toilet, and the most of the or I think all of the hotels in Japan have this bathtub because of the very cold weather during winter. So you just have to soak yourself there, then enjoy. And yes, this is the two beds in the bedroom. It's quite big, and you have your TV, and the view from this floor is quite spectacular, overlooking the Osaka Bay. I'm not sure, but yeah, look at that one. Appreciating the Osaka skyline. So that's it for this trip. See you again in my next vlog. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my video. Please, please, please. Okay, bye.